Last week, it's safe to say that we were left disappointed in that draw versus Cagliari. And in this game, Como would prove to be a very tough task. As we've seen it, Como are no pushover team. And the quality that they have in this team, we've seen it firsthand. But with the start of the Conceição era, his main importance is grabbing the result no matter what. And my favorite line in football is 3 points is 3 points. And that's what matters in the end. And that's what Conceição is trying to translate to these players, that football is simple. But I'm not going to sit here and say that Milan played this squeaky clean game in style that we want them to. I think the main thing to understand is that style of play will come later. Now it's about grabbing points and staying competitive in this top four race. And this game was much of the same versus Cagliari. Very slow, very sluggish. And it was like we were driving a car 30 miles an hour in a 60 mile per hour zone. And we once again showcased our inability to break into that attacking third. And one player that I'm going to start with that I'm concerned about is Tijani Reinders, who hasn't really shown a half decent performance since Conceição has arrived. And maybe that has to do with, fatigue and everything like that. But that one chance that was created for Reinders by Leao was a huge shock for all because he missed that chance. And these types of chances, we've seen him finish them before. I think it's clear that him and Fofana maybe need a rest in that midfield, but also, if they are available and they are training, I do think that they should play and just manage their minutes in game. But with games coming thick and fast and against top opponents, we need our strongest 11 available at all times. And speaking of some of our strongest players available, Rafael Leao and Theo Hernandez, double tip of the hat. Leao in this game taking on defenders, creating loads of chances. Obviously, that Reinders chance that I mentioned earlier, but also that Jimenez chance. Milan really could have capitalized in this game a lot, but Rafa doing Rafael Leao things, taking on his man, and you see the confidence that is radiating from Rafa in these last couple games. And since the beginning of November, listen to this, guys. Rafael Leao has had 9 goals and assists in 13 games, which is sensational. He was kind of going through that rough patch earlier in this season with Fonseca. And, maybe you can kind of give Fonseca some credit here for benching Leao and kind of giving him that wake-up call. But you see what that has done to Leao, and he's really locked in. And I think he realizes how important he is to this team to get results. And same thing with Theo Hernandez. Scoring in this game means that he is Milan's all-time top goal scoring defender, passing the great Paolo Maldini, who was at 29, and now Theo Hernandez is at 30. So big up Theo Hernandez for doing that. And this was kind of your standard Theo performance. Yeah, he got the goal and he wasn't really bombing up and down that left-hand side, but he was doing his job apart from that goal that Como scored. And I really think that Theo really needs to be closing down that space instead of letting the attackers go through and run into that open space. And I think that he should be doing better in that regard because it's frustrating how impactful Theo Hernandez is on that attacking phase. But when it comes to defending, it's just those lapses of judgment that time and time again, he has those moments and we pay the price for it. But I think Mike Maignan also does have blood on his hands for this goal too, for coming at the near post. And it's really strange. I don't know what Mike Maignan is kind of going through at the moment because that one goal that he conceded versus Cagliari, that kind of P-roller really just kind of goes straight through his hands. And against this one versus Como at his near post, it's just not good enough for Mike Maignan. And we've been really praising Maignan this season for having, those MVP style performances. But then when you kind of see goals that we concede like this that are very easy preventable, it kind of, makes you come back to reality in what the situation we're in. But regardless of the fact is, we responded in the best way possible, getting 2 quick goals. And we were a lot more fluid when Morata came off at the half and Tammy Abraham came in. And I think it's time for us to realize that Tammy Abraham is never going to be that goal scorer, poacher type player that we want him to, but he's more of a provider. And when he comes up in these moments, I kind of think of those types of games versus Lazio, right? When he assisted that one Rafael Leao goal. And now he's doing the same thing versus Como, threading that perfect pass to Leao to give us the lead. And I don't mind Rafa scoring, but I think it would be more helpful to have a reference point in that attack, which is why investment is needed in this number 9 position. And I really think that the management is banking on the fact that Camarda is going to break out and be, the guy to lead the line, which I do think is possible. However, within these next 3 to 4 years, right? Camarda is only 16. In 3 years, he's going to be 19. In 4 years, he's going to be 20. So I don't think that Camarda is going to be that, 20 to 30 goal striker that we need within these next 3 years. So investment is needed 100%. I'd love Sesko. I think that was somebody on all of our lists coming this summer to hopefully bring in. But I think it's more clear than not that this summer is the year that we need to break the bank for a top number 9. And I don't think that Tammy is going to be here after his loan spell. And Morata, I think, is just a rotation player in my eyes, while Camarda should be training within the team and learning how to play in the Serie A and in the Champions League. So I think that's the best thing that we can do for the development of Camarda right now regarding the striker situation. And something that I think came to a shock for a lot of us was that the man of the match with this game was Emerson Royale. I don't know what game these guys were watching. I don't think Emerson played terribly, to be honest, because I think when you have all those players on that right-hand side, you had Musa on that side, you had Jimenez on that hand side, you had Emerson Royale on that right-hand side. It's hard to kind of break into that space when you have 3 essentially right backs or, right-fielded players on that right-hand side, and that's why I think they were targeting Theo Hernandez so much this game. You saw, I believe, Dio was his name, just constantly going at Theo left and right. But regardless of the fact is, I think there are loads of things that need to be addressed in this team. And what matters at the end of the day is that we grabbed 3 points. And this is the thing that Conceição is trying to emphasize to these teams. And I 100% agree with that. You kind of have to win games like this, right? You don't play the most convincing style of football, but you take your chances. And Milan took our chances. Thankfully, we did get those 2 goals. I think maybe we probably should have added an extra 2 with those Reinders and Jimenez chances. But this is what matters at the end of the day. Picking up points, no matter how you play. You can play like garbage, but you just pick up the win. And that's what matters in this race for the top 4. And now, with Juventus tying against Atalanta, and as of today, Inter and Bologna tied as well, that's points gained for us in this race. And speaking of Juventus, we play them next. And I know we just played them recently, but these guys are going to want revenge in this game. And we are in Torino in this game. Juventus Stadium in Torino is one of the toughest places to play in Italy, in my opinion. I think it is the toughest place to play in Italy, if not the Olimpico for Roma and Lazio. But Juventus are going to want blood in this game. And I think it's going to be very, very tough for us to grab a result in this one because, yes, Juventus don't play the most convincing style of football. And literally having 13 draws in the league is very bad for Juventus standards. But if you kind of look at it in retrospect, yes, they haven't lost, but they don't play the most convincing football. I think it's going to be tough for us because they are going to have to fight for this result because, yes, we beat them in literally the most unconvincing way possible. But I think what matters is for them the occasion in which this game is going to be played in. Obviously, they want revenge, like I've said, but they're going to try as hard as they can. And I think with us, I think we are going to play up to the occasion. I wouldn't rule out the fact that Milan kind of gets a scrappy win because in these last 3 games that we've played against Juventus, Inter, and Como, we've been down all 3 times and we've won all 3 times. So this is really good what Conceição is trying to establish in this team. No matter, where the situation is at in the game, you can still pull it back. So I think that will really play into our favor playing in this Juventus stadium. And this game versus Juventus is huge because with a win, right, and we're hoping if Fiorentina drop points as well, then Milan go into 5th place, which is massive for this top 4 race to kind of gain back those points that we lost. So there's a lot at stake in this game to kind of get our season back on track. And obviously with Champions League next week as well, it's really important to kind of ride this kind of positive, I guess, reinforcement that we're going through in this squad right now. I think that'll do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and get involved in the comment section below. What do you guys think about the current Milan situation? Not really playing convincing football, but grabbing the result. What do you guys think about our chances beating Juventus in Juventus Stadium? What do you guys think about our chances into really cementing our spot in top 4? Guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao ragazzi.